All right, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rachak, Wadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be, wherever you may be. Shalom, Yasharallah. Shalom. All right, we're going to get into Exodus chapter 9. All right, continuing on with these plays that the Lord is hitting the Egyptians with. All right, Exodus chapter 9, verse 1 says, Then the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh and tell him, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power of the Hebrews, right? Power of the Hebrews, okay? And in particular, we're talking about the Hebrew Israelites, but we know these were certain individuals, so we don't have to go, it doesn't need to be said who exactly these Hebrews were, all right? Because we know it was a particular set of the Hebrews, all right? And you see the word there, Ibaria, okay? Which goes back to one of our forefathers' names, Eber, all right? Hebrew, one from beyond. See, it says a designation of the patriarchs and the Israelites. Because when you want to get very specific, yeah, you always have to add Israelites, Hebrew Israelites. But these particular Hebrews here were already a specific people. So it's not necessary that we go into those different particulars or whatnot. All right. So it says also a designation of the patriarchs and the Israelites. All right. And like I said, that name goes back to one of our forefathers, Eber. All right. Ibar, Eber. Okay. A region beyond. Okay. So, and that goes a little bit deeper. The elders went into that, a while back. I like listen to that lesson over and over. So it says, let my people go, the Hebrews, who are the Israelites, at this time not called Israelites, but, we understand who these people are, all right? Actually, yeah, we are Israelites at this point. Now take it back, because, yeah, because, our forefather, right? Because this was after all that time period where it's 12 sons and so on and so forth. So I take that back. We are, at this point, Israelites. But the point that I made still stands. Like it's not necessary to say exactly who these Hebrews are, all right? Because we know there's other Hebrews, but in particular, we're talking about the Hebrew Israelites. But that doesn't need to be said because these particular Israelites, these were the Hebrews who were held captive by the Egyptians. So it's not necessary to go further than that, all right, in the scripture. But we understand these are the Hebrew Israelites. So it says, For if thou refuse to let them go, and would hold them still, behold, the hand of Yahweh is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous murrain. All right, let's get the word grievous, because this word comes up. All right, kabod. All right, heavy, great. All right, massive, abundant, numerous, hard, difficult, burdensome, very oppressive, numerous. All right, and it says moraine. Okay, which we've gone into this before. But the thing is, as a matter of fact, let's pull it up. Moraine. All right, because matter of fact, let's pull this up real quick. Oh, actually, no, let's do this because it says cattle disease, right? So when you pull up cattle disease, it says bovine spongiform encephalopathy. Excuse me, bovine spongiform encephalopathy. Encephalopathy. Excuse me, encephalopathy. Encephalopathy. We're gonna get one of them right. Encephalopathy, BSE, widely referred to as mad cow disease, all right, is a progressive and fatal disease for the nervous system in cattle. Foot and mouth disease is a severe viral disease that primarily affects cloven hoofed animals, including cows, pigs, sheep, goats, and deer. All right. Oh, look at that. Sorry if you're squeamish. We can check this out. Okay. You wouldn't want to eat that. So backing up, going back under here again, we can pull up cattle plague because I'm gonna show you something here. All right, it says the cattle plague is another name for rinderpest, a highly contagious viral disease that affects cloven-hoofed animals. It was eradicated globally in 2011. So they say. It says symptoms: sudden fever, discharge from the nose and eyes, erosive lesions in the mouth, diarrhea, dehydration, weakness, stomach pain, vomiting. Affected animals: cattle, buffalo, yaks, sheep, and goats. Mortality, it is in susceptible herds. Rinderpest could have a mortality rate of up to 100% for cattle and buffalo. In other species, the disease may be milder. All right. So when it comes to buffalo and cattle, very heavy. Okay. Rinderpest was declared eradicated in 2011, becoming the second disease to be eradicated after smallpox. So they say. All right. So that's another thing. All right. Now, when you go into moraine, you actually get something else. So when it says, you bring, let me finish this first. It says an infectious disease, especially, which we've gone into this before. All right. Babesiosis. All right. An infectious disease, especially babesiosis, affecting cattle and other animals. All right. Archaic, a plague epidemic or crop blight. But we don't need that one. So, babesiosis babesiosis, a disease of cattle and other livestock transmitted by the bite of ticks. It affects the red blood cells and causes the passing of red or blackish urine. All right. So there. So the point I was about to make is, you notice when you go into these things, moraine, cattle disease, and cattle plague, you get three different things. All right. And so all these things could have been a part of this particular plague that came upon, all right, the cattle. All right. Because you can also get the word pestilence here, and it says a fatal epidemic disease, especially bubonic plague. All right. And when you go here, it actually links back to pestilence. When you go to plague, because it says a contagious bacterial disease characterized by fever and delirium, typically with the formation of buboes, bubonic plague, and sometimes infection of the lungs, pneumonic plague. All right. It also says in a verb, cause continual trouble or distress to. All right. So yeah, so this was very, very heavy. We see there was three different things, all right, that we went into, all right, and the word there is the bar, okay? So let's go back and see what was said here. It says, behold, the hand of the Lord Yahweh is upon thy cattle, all right? Now, I don't think we'll get a list of cattle here. I'm pretty sure we won't. We get the word, though, makwana, cattle, livestock, in general, purchasable domestic cows, sheep, goats, and herds and flocks. Yeah, everything we pretty much just mentioned. And there was a lot of things, animals mentioned there. Large ruminant animals with horns and cloven hoofs, domesticated for meat, for or milk, or as beasts of burden. Cows, basically those that work the field. Okay, so you mostly see cows and stuff like that. All right, but yeah, so it wasn't just cows alone. All right, cows, sheep, goats. What did it mention? What did it mention? Bulls. I can't remember everything it mentioned, but yeah, you get the gist of it, right? But then it mentions here this long list. All right. Behold, the hand of the Yahweh is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, which is basically donkeys, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous murrain. All right. So that was just five mentioned. But we know this thing also affects cattle and even other things like pigs and stuff like that. All right. I said cattle. I mean cows. All right. I think I said cattle. But I meant to say cows. All right. So yeah. So and dealing with this. All right. So it says, and the Lord Yahweh shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt. All right. The cattle of his people, because we had things too. Remember, they lived in Goshen, right? So we had things too. All right. And in Goshen, none of these things happened. All right. These different plagues that were happening, none of those things went down in Goshen, because that's where the Israelites dwelled at. All right. In Goshen. Remember, they had to dwell separately from the Egyptians. All right. Because of their particular, uh, uh, we'll just say job. All right. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But that what our forefathers used to do. All right. Working with the herds, the cattle, the sheep, the goat, all on the land, living off the land, so on and so forth. Those things were seen as an abomination to the Egyptians, man. So, and Joseph was the one that put us up on game on that. All right. Yahweh Sop say, hey, Pharaoh's going to ask you this, and you're going to say that. And that's how they ended up in Goshen. All right. And that was all to fulfill prophecy, because look what's happening in Egypt. You didn't think the Lord planned this out? Of course he did. All right. The Lord already knew this was going to happen. So he made sure through the mouth of Joseph, all right, that we got moved into the land of Goshen, because he knew how he was going to do these Egyptians later on. All right. He knew that our people were, after Joseph, was going to go into captivity, so on and so forth. And that's what a lot of Israelites can't understand today. They get up and want to voice their opinion by way of this internet, and saying if God was this, then why that? And God this, and why did that? And when slavery happened, where was God? And all these ridiculous questions. All right, you never taking accountability, the ability within yourself. All right, which you have to go in the scriptures to study that. You see that it was that you that went off. The Lord did provide it for you. Hell, even coming out of Egypt, which we're in this story now, after everything He just did in Egypt and out of Egypt, they still bucked up just around wax fat kid. You see, and that was a constant thing over and over and over as you go through the scriptures throughout our history, man. But our people never take accountability for themselves, man. It's always God, never them though. You see? And the Lord told you, if you do this, da 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 da. But if you do this, I'm gonna jack you up. Okay? It's straightforward, man. But it's always these arrogant questions that come about. So I was about to, as a matter of fact, I'll go and get it. Let's go over here. Because when you go to ancient Egypt, right, and you pull this up, it says in Egyptian mythology, Hathor is one of the main cattle deities, as she is the mother of Horus and Ra, which is all, BS. But, you know, we're reading it for point of, this account here, making the point clear, all right? Because we know Esau took over Egypt at one point, and a lot of things they picked up from Egypt. Well, before then, there was the actual Egyptians, right? And this is what we're dealing with now, the actual Egyptians who did these things. So it says Hathor is one of the main cattle deities, as she is the mother of Horus and Ra, and closely associated with the role of royalty and kingship. Hesat is one of Hathor's manifestations, usually portrayed as a white cow representing purity and the milk that she produces to give life to humanity. All right, so this is what they went to, man. See what else is down here. Look, see these wall reliefs and things of that nature. And we could probably go into more of this in the wiki, but you can look it up on your own time. All right, because I made this point in the previous sessions. All right, the Lord is not just doing random plays and things of that nature. All right, He's attacking everything that they stand for, which stems from these false gods and idols. All right, because you had the Egyptians had a god for everything. Okay, and so some of those were held at very high regards over the other gods because they had their own pantheon. And so the Lord is striking out directly at their particular pantheon of gods, or not all of them, but specific ones that are they're very highly esteemed in Egypt. So everything that He was doing through these plagues had association with a deity, with a false god or goddess that these Egyptians worshipped. And so you don't think they were seeing these things? Okay, so let's go back over here. Like I said, there's probably more you can get into in the wiki or whatever, more research. But we're just going to, keep it basic. You do your own research, as I have done. So it says, and Yahweh shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and there shall nothing die of all that is the children's of Israel. You see? It says, as Yahweh appointed a set time, saying, tomorrow Yahweh shall do this thing in the land. So that had to bring worry itself. But some people, didn't believe, all right, especially when we get down below. There's going to be people that didn't believe, right? But that would have brought worry, like, man, so it's not going to happen right away. It's going to happen tomorrow. So now you got to have whatever period time it was in the day. You got to go about your day thinking about this. All right, tomorrow, this is going to happen. All right, it ain't like He did the plagues before. So it ain't like this is a bluff. All right, this ain't a bluff because He already brought plagues. All right, but now the plagues are getting more terrible here in I won't say Genesis, in Exodus chapter 9. It says, and Yahweh appointed a set time, saying, tomorrow Yahweh shall do this thing in the land. And the Lord Yahweh did that thing on the morrow, and all the cattle of Egypt died, but of the cattle of the children of Israel died not one. This is very important too to remember about this cattle disease that was going around. Because checks how this comes back into play later on in the chapter that was the Spirit kind of hit me with. Right, so it says the Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead. All right. It says, and the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go. He was pissed. Like, wait a minute. All right, this God of these Hebrews just killed a lot of our cattle, a lot of our livestock. And then he go over there to Goshen, go over there to Goshen, and everything's just fine and dandy. Oh, yeah, he was hella pissed. Then it goes on. I didn't want that. But that goes into the curses though later on that the Lord told us about. He pretty much threatened us, right? Let us know, all right, this day what the deal is, okay? Part of the curses, the Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, wherever thou canst not be healed. All right, those are the curses in Deuteronomy 28. Okay, so going on, continuing on, says the plague of boils. It says, and Yahweh said unto Moses and unto Aaron, take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it toward the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh, and it shall become. And notice, there's no more magicians talked about anymore, because after the lice, turning all that dust into lice, that was it. They couldn't do that. Okay, so whatever plague came before the lice, that was their last one, because they couldn't replicate the lice. All right, and so now things are getting real. Okay, but he had to harden Pharaoh's heart. Okay, so it says, and it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast throughout all the land of Egypt. Let's get the word boil and blain. All right, the word blain here is okay. Uh, abai, abai, abai. Let me see what it says here. Help me out here. Abai, what is it? Abba? So I'm not that good with the Syrian. All right, if it was written in the Hebrew characters, I would definitely get it. But I'm not so great with the Syrian here. I'm trying to get it though, because it's not Abu Bua, Ababua, Ababua, Aladdin, right? I just can't get it right. It's okay. It is not necessary. I try. Looks like Abai, something like that. I'm not sure. Inflammatory pustule as eruption, blains. All right. Click this down. Blister, boils from root to swell up. All right. Blisters, boils. All right. And let's get boil. All right. Shachyan. Is that it? Yeah, Shachyan. It says boil, inflamed spot, inflammation, eruption. And then it also says of man, leprosy of man and beast. All right. So yeah, it says, and it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast throughout all the land of Egypt. All right. And we can go over here. And Sekhmet, right? Sekhmet, goddess of war, destruction, power, and strength. Her image was often used as a symbol of courage and resilience. Also, goddess of pestilence and plague. All right, it says that because of this, she was thought to have the power to protect against disease and evil, often depicted with the head of a lioness and the body of a woman. I believe I've seen this thing before. Let's see if I can find a picture. As a matter of fact, okay. Yep, look at this craziness. Matter of fact, let's go back up here to images. Look at this craziness. This thing. Egyptians. And look, that serpent, right? They love that serpent, right? So this is that Sekhmet. Sekhmet. Was that hands? Hell yeah, hands. Look, got some fantasized art there. Here's a raw wall relief. So you see what we're getting at. What was that? Let me check that one out. Check that one out. See? Sekhmet right there. You see? With the serpent and everything. All right. And I forget exactly what the discus was about. I believe it was like actually, I'm not even going to take a guess at it. We'll, if the Lord willing, we remember, we'll research it, because you'll see that a lot, that little discus looking thing on top of their heads. So we can get familiar with that. We can figure that out. I forget exactly what it was about. So yeah, you see. Also says in Egyptian mythology, Sekhmet is a warrior goddess as well as goddess of medicine. Sekhmet, with the head of a lioness and yep, sun disk. All right, I didn't want to say it, but hey, it popped up. You see, there you go. Because I wanted to say it was associated with the sun, but like I said, I didn't want to say it but not be sure. Just gonna look it up. So there we go. The answer. All right, fact check, stamp it. All right, and sun disk and Uraeus on. Let me go in there. Let me go in the wiki real quick. Now I want to know what else it says here. Oh, actually, might not be able to find it. Um, Medicine. Okay, here it is. Sun disk and Uraeus on her head. All right, Uraeus. So what is Uraeus then? See? See, where's the starting point? Yeah, rearing cobra. All right, rearing cobra is the stylized upright form of an Egyptian cobra used as symbol of sovereignty, royalty, deity, and divine authority in ancient Egypt. So it goes to show you why they use it so much. That's what they believed in. I'm not saying this is what is. That's what the Egyptians believed in. So make sure you make that separation there. Okay. Look, see, like we mentioned those I call them hair hats, but it's not really hair though. But you know, a pharaoh would wear something like this, someone of royalty and status. You see, Mask of Tutankhamun, mummy, talking about this thing around his head, and then the fake beard. We mentioned all of that stuff, all right, because they were bald headed, because they were so afraid of lice, especially in the heat. So, bam, we got more than we wanted there, but we also got an answer to the other things. So then we had to look it up. So I was actually right about what I was thinking, just didn't want to say it, right? Associated with that sun disk, right? You know, the sun god, Ra, and all that kind of good stuff that they believe in. Okay. So let's go back over here. Exodus chapter 9. And it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with blains upon men and upon beasts throughout all the land of Egypt. Verse 10 says, and they took ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh. It says, and Moses sprinkled it up toward heaven, and it became, and this says, stood before Pharaoh, like, yeah, in your face, okay? This is the power of our God, all right? So they weren't hiding, okay? And so it says, and sprinkled it up toward heaven, and it became a boil, breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beasts, all right? It says, and the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boil. You see, magicians were there, but they weren't trying to replicate anything anymore. They were already out of there. Before the lights, they were out of there. But of course, they were still around, all right? Because these are Pharaoh's men. These are his go-to men. Astrologers, soothsayers, magicians, and things of that nature. Those were go-to men back in those days. So it says, and the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils. For the boil was upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. And Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord Yahweh has spoken unto Moses. And Yahweh said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh. All right, as he just did a miracle in front of him, and he says, go back in front of him again. All right, and stand before Pharaoh and say unto him, thus said the Lord Yahweh, power of the Hebrews, let my people go that they may serve me. Like, dog, you're not getting it. Okay, that's what it's boiling up to. Like, come on, Pharaoh, you not getting the message yet? Message. But what happened? He kept hardening his heart. Like, all right, let's keep going then. So it says, for I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. Like it says in Isaiah. All right. I am the Lord. Let me just pull it up, because I thought I was about to quote something else. I was about to quote I think Malachi. It's not what I wanted. But that was a good one, though. I'm the Lord. I change not, therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. That's definitely what I was about to quote. That's not what I wanted. What am I looking for? Is it 40? I think it might be 47. Yeah, I'm looking for 47. I think I'm looking for 47. Let me make sure. Actually, no, it got to be in 45. Or maybe I'm overlooking it. Let me see here. Let me slow down. Yeah, it must have been in 45 here. Let me go back to 45. Let me slow down. Okay. Here, yep, I passed over it. Yep, 45 and 5. I am Yahweh, and there is none else. There is no power beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am Yahweh, and there is none else. All right. I form the light and create peace, create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh, do all these things. All right. And that's exactly what he's about to do, or he's already doing, but he's going to finish off with, because, after these accounts here, later on in the early history, This is where you get all those different places where people would just happen to know who the Israelites are. All right, it's because everybody heard what the Lord did to the Egyptians. All right, and that's what you kept, seeing. All right, in those, few places where it's mentioned. We've heard. All right, we heard and we're afraid. We heard and we're afraid. We heard the key things. We heard how the Lord jacked up the Egyptians, and we're afraid because we don't know what's going to go down. All right, if you guys are here and we just do something that's off, that you feel like you've been mistreated, He may jack us up in the same way. We're going to be destroyed like those Egyptians. We're terribly afraid. All right, so the people were dealing with us differently. All right, after that, and it's going to come back around again. Right, when the kingdom is established, these nations are going to know to fear the Lord. All right. And when the Israelites are around, they're going to know to show that respect because these are His people, right? But for now, let's continue. It says, "For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thy heart and upon thy servants and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. For now," verse 15, "I will stretch out my hand that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth." And we already went to that word pestilence, if I'm correct. Yep. Pestilence, you see, this eases, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. And in very deed, for this cause have I raised thee up, for to shew in thee my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. And this is what Paul quoted here. Okay, the reason why my people were brought into Egypt in the captivity under you. All right, told you to let my people go. All right, you harden your heart. All right, and I jack you up with a new disease. All right, it was all to show my power. All right, and what I'm truly capable of, versus what you think that you and your false gods are capable of. All right. So it says, "And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, and that my name," what is his name? Yahweh. "My name may be declared throughout all the earth." And that's what we just talked about. Lord's going to bring the fear of his name alone, not just what he could do, because he's going to bring the fear of what he could do, but he's also going to bring the fear of his name back, which the world has forgotten, all right, which is Yahweh. Yah, meaning he, Hawa, meaning is or exists, all right, and that is the Paleo Hebrew. That is the true name of the Heavenly Father, all right? So he's going to bring back the fear of him, period. But also, he's going to bring back his name. And he's already bringing it back, all right, through his men, all right? Those that have been, well, not just the men, because, I have a few, we'll see. You get what I'm saying in general, all right? Those that the name has been revealed to, all right? So it says, "And yet exaltest thou thyself against my people, that thou would not let them go," all right? So I raised you up for this purpose. I'm telling you what I raised you up for, all right? To show my power, all right, that all the earth may tremble. That's everything we just mentioned there. Everybody's just going to hear about what this God, whose name is Yahweh, who is the God of these Hebrews, did to those Egyptians when He delivered His people out of that land. But yet you exaltest thyself against my people, that thou would not let them go. All right, and it moves on to say the plague of hell. All right, Exodus 9 and 18. "Behold, tomorrow about this time, I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail." Let's get the word grievous. This word comes up also in the New Testament, all right? In Revelation in particular, I'm thinking about. But there's a different term, that comes about for the word grievous there in Revelation 16 and 2. I think it's 16 and 2. It says, and we went into this word. Yeah, see, heavy, great, oppressive, so on and so forth, right? All right, and that hell we already mentioned, right? Okay. But it also says figuratively of the Most High's judgment. You see? And what is hell? Hell is basically frozen rain. All right. So it says, "Such have not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even until now." So what the Lord is about to do has never been felt in the land of Egypt. All right. Since before, since the earth was created and Egypt was formed as a nation. All right. There's never been something like this that's about to be felt in Egypt. All right. Check it out. Verse 19 says, "Send therefore now and gather thy cattle and all that thou hast in the field. For upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field," right? Every man and beast which shall be found in the field and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them and they shall die. And remember, I just talked about the murrain and all those other cattle diseases, right? So you got to understand what's about to happen here. The Lord already destroyed a whole lot of their different cattle here. And now he's about to bring down hail and bring even more. So what's happening here? He's not only destroying their livelihood, but he's destroying their economy, because back then people lived off the land. You had the different rivers, and now you have all these, it's not like today. All right. where you basically a slave to the system, but for the fact that you have a job, okay? Without people lived off the land, cattle and things of that nature. That's having substance. That's what wealth was, when you had land and cattle. Not because I got a job and I'm able to afford this house and a car or whatever, or I'm able to, start a business, or I'm able to do this, or I'm able to travel. No, that's got nothing to do with that. True wealth is that land and that cattle and things of that nature. So the Lord is actually destroying alongside, what he's doing with these plagues, with the people and everything else, and showing his power. He's also destroying their economy, because Egypt was never the same after this. So he just destroyed all those cattle with the cattle disease, and now he's about to turn back around and use the hail to destroy even more things, and along with that cattle, which had already been destroyed. The most of it, other cattle probably already been destroyed. So now he's about to take even more, man. So their economy is about to take a downfall from here. You see? So it says, verse 20 says, he that feared the word of Yahweh among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flee into the houses. You see, those that feared the word, because come on, you can't make it up. Look at all the other plays he brought before. So you think he's joking, like he's not about to do this? Okay. But you had, silly non-believers like, whatever. That's just the God of those Hebrews. Okay. Like just disregarding everything else that happened up to this point. But check out what happens. It says, he that feared the word of Yahweh among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flee into the houses. And he that regarded not the word of Yahweh left his servants and his cattle in the field. All right. It says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, verse 22, stretch forth thine hand toward heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, upon man and upon beasts and upon every herb of the field, because you have different, different types of crops. Some of those crops, those herbs, things that they can use for healing medicine, all kinds of plants and flowers and, different types of shrubbery and things of that nature. All kinds of things are about to be destroyed here. All right. It says throughout the land of Egypt, upon in all the land of Egypt, upon man and upon beast and upon every herb of the field throughout the land of Egypt. Says verse 23 says, and Moses stretched forth his rod toward heaven, and Yahweh sent thunder and hail, and the fire ran along upon the ground, and Yahweh rained hail upon the land of Egypt. And notice the thing here, if you don't notice, sometimes Aaron has the rod, sometimes it's Moses that's doing the thing. All right. So it says, and the fire ran along upon the ground, and Yahweh rained hail upon the land of Egypt. So there was hail and fire mingle with the hail, right? The hail and fire mingle with the hail. Very grievous, all right? So you wonder how just hail alone is destroying it. It's not, because hail is just basically frozen water, all right? Frozen rain, all right? So it's ice, which that can do destruction, but that's the key thing there, all right? It goes into talking about the fire, you see? So it says there was hail and fire mingled with it. But I don't think that was the only. I believe there's a later account that deals with the same thing. Matter of fact, I believe it's mentioned in Revelation. But I'm looking for something else that I think was before then, but I might be wrong. Yeah, there's nothing here. But yeah, because I believe it mentions hail. No, actually, I think it says blood mingled with fire, something like that. But I believe that was going to like the missile destruction and so on and so forth. But let's keep going. I want to get off track here. So it says that Moses stretched forth his rod toward heaven, and Yahweh sent thunder and hail, and the fire ran along upon the ground, and Yahweh rained hail upon the land of Egypt. All right, so you got hail with fire mingled down. Like, how you get frozen rain on fire? You can't tell me that ain't the Lord, man. And sure enough, the hailstones hurt because it's ice, and along with the ice comes fire. So whatever it dropped on, it burned up. So now you wonder how everything was destroyed, because it was burned. All right, the ice didn't do it. All right, the ice may be heavy and but what ice can do some damage to a plant or flower or something like that, but actually destroy it, nah. But fire can. Okay, so it says there was hail and fire mingled with the hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation. All right, I believe that's the second time that was mentioned. I'm going to show you how serious this account was. And this is real. All right, this is a real event that happened in the past. It says, and the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and beast. And the hail smote every herb of the field and brake every tree of the field. So those people that didn't heed to the word, stayed out there in the field, they got cracked upside the head with some frozen ice, and then, probably dropped to the ground and got burned up as well because there was fire. All right. So it probably stung them, okay? It hurt because it was ice. It stung them because, when it hit, it was fire. And then, when they fell to the ground, that was all she wrote. They got burned up. And everything that was around it was getting burned up anyways, okay? And the cattle, right? It says, and the hail smote every herb of the field and break every tree of the field. All right, both man and beast. Before that, it says, only in the land of where? Goshen. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail. Because everything that was going on, all right, was to show the Lord's power. But amongst that showing of the Lord's power, he was making sure that he protected his people because he was going to eventually deliver us. All right. So if we got caught up in these plagues, we'd be destroyed along with the Egyptians, right? Because I'm pretty sure many died, many cattle and things of that nature. So we'd be destroyed. We, as a people, it might be a few of us left, but be a handful of people and a handful of cattle and things of that nature. We'd just be destroyed. That wasn't his point, to destroy us, to deliver us. No, right? He was going to deliver us. All right. It says, and Pharaoh sent and called for Moses and Aaron and said unto them, I have sinned this time. All right. Yahweh is righteous and I and my people are wicked. I believe, let me see. Did I get that one? No, I don't think I got this one. Here's one more for you. All right, Tefnut. All right. In ancient Egyptian culture, Tefnut, whose name means that water, was the goddess of moisture, rain, and water. She is the daughter of the solar god Atum Ra, or Re, or Ra, whatever, and the wife of her twin brother Shu, the god of air. All right. So you see what the Lord is doing here, man? He's hitting this goes on multiple levels, man. All right. There's a Tefnut, I guess, right there. You see it? And as I said before, if you want further research on these things, you just look into it. All right. So go on, let's finish this up here. We're almost done. All right, verse 28 says, entreat Yahweh, for it is enough. That's what Pharaoh said, right? Entreat Yahweh, for it is enough. He says that there be no more mighty thunderings and hail, and I will let you go, and ye shall stay no longer. All right. So here it is again. Once again, the same words. Hey, just tell your God, stop the plague. Okay. And I'm gonna let you go. All right. You will stay here no longer. But I'm pretty sure we know what's about to happen next. Verse 29 says, and Moses said unto him, as soon as I am going out of the city, I will spread abroad my hands unto Yahweh, and the thunder shall cease. Neither shall there be any more hail, that thou mayest know how that the earth is Yahweh's. All right. Yeah, like I said in I think I know exactly what I'm thinking of, which is said a couple places in Daniel, but this is the one that brothers usually pull out, Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. And I read this just to show, just to make the point that, hey, the Lord controls all things, all right? Kings that arise up, the Lord controls that. Nations that are in power, the Lord controls that, all right? Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord, and as the rivers of water, he turneth it with us wherever he will. The Lord controls everything that happens, man. So it says, I will spread abroad my hands. I think we just read that. Yeah, neither shall there be any more hail, that thou mayest know how that the earth is Yahweh's. All right. It's not your earth, Pharaoh. It's not your fake God's earth, right? This is the earth of the power of the Hebrews. Okay. It says, but as for thee and thy servants, I know that ye will not yet fear the Lord Yahweh power. All right. Yeah, he says, I know you and your servants, all right? You in that household of yours, you ain't gonna fear. Okay. So it goes on to say, and the flax and the barley was smitten, for the barley was in the ear, right? Yeah, in the ear, meaning that it was pretty much, ready to be, it was pretty much ripened, all right? Because you could push the the husk or the seed or whatever, all right? And when it you can still, mush it down, it's not ready, all right? When it becomes, hardened, that you can't mush it no more, and the green is going away, it gets that certain color to it, all right? No more green stuff. It's ripe, all right? So that was destroyed. The barley was smitten, for the barley was in the air. Matter of fact, let's just pull up here. Abiab, and wrong one. The word there is fresh. You see, fresh, young barley ears, barley. All right. So yeah, and then it says what? And the flax was bold. All right. So the flax was pretty much beginning to ripe. Okay. Gabail. You see, bud. See, beginning to bud there. All right, so we need that one. So it says, but the wheat and the rye were not smitten, for they were not grown up. So more than likely, they were still, they were not even, sprung up, from the ground however they do yet. All right. So, I mean, you get the point on that. It says, and Moses went out of the city. Or then again, it could have been, because it says they were not grown up. They you could have had stalks already, but they were still growing. All right. They were probably nowhere, at the end of the, their growth, cycle. So they weren't destroyed. All right. So it says, and Moses went out of the city from Pharaoh and spread abroad his hands unto Yahweh, and the thunders and hail ceased, and the rain was not poured upon the earth. And when Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunders were ceased, he sinned yet more, you see, and hardened his heart, he and his servants. So they just got pissed off even more and more arrogant and bullheaded and, disobedient. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, neither would he let the children of Israel go, as Yahweh has spoken by Moses. All right. So hey, it's about to get real extra ugly in a second here as we continue on. All right. So that's the end of Exodus chapter 9. Lord willing, you were edified. To next time, Yasharala. I'm going to say Shalom.